Hey everybody, it's the Last Robokai here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Prey. Today we are going into the guts. I really like saying it like that.
Do you have
It's going to be quite an interesting ride, and joining me as always is Cool Guy.
I just summoned the aggro crag, and I'll be looking out from atop here.
And I would like to say before we get into it, if you get motion sickness, if you watch the previous videos where we went into space and you went a bit, I don't really like this, like somebody else spinning through space and I have no control about it, I highly recommend you either skip this video or just minimize it and not watching it, because this will probably set you off. I couldn't tell you for sure, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I'd hate to have anybody puke their guts up because of me, like aside from like my atrocious jokes.
Yeah, real talk though. Watching it on the default view versus the theater view will help with a lot of people who get motion sickness, because you will have the border of your web window to basically orient yourself, and that the nerves of your inner ear can just sort of, or whatever it is that causes visual motion sickness like that have something to anchor onto.
Yeah, because 90% of this video is going to be microgravity, so let's get stuck straight in.
Morgan, where are you going? You won't be able to use Alex's escape pod without... Wait, who are you? Please identify.
Yeah, so the December problem's been fixed now.
Morgan, this is January. That operator was an earlier defective model, or something worse. Alex, the Typhon, they're all working against you. Trust yourself. Trust the video you made. We need to get the army keys and destroy Talos 1 before it's too late.
Yeah, so January just murked December. as it should be on a calendar.
Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, the new year just rolled in, motherfucker. You can totally keep December alive, but it involves killing. It involves killing January. That's the only way I know of to keep December alive past that point, even if you're following the escape key thing.
There can be only one, motherfucker.
Hey, so look at that. We got ourselves another Typhon power. We are rapidly transforming ourselves into a psychic abomination. It's great.
Honestly, I saw that energy discharge, and the only thing I can think of is like the first Electro Bolt power you get in BioShock. You're gonna have to give him the 1-2 punch. Remember, it's the 1-2 punch. It's my terrible Atlas impersonation.
It was a nice try. So we're gonna get the Q beam upgraded, because this thing's gonna be a workhorse against certain enemy types as we go through the game. Get the power up. Because at low levels, the Q beam, it's all right, but it takes too long to kill stuff. It cycles through way too much ammunition, and you want it to be killing things, because it is a very effective at killing things piece of gear.
Oh, there's stuff up there.
Yeah, there's always stuff up there. Just teasing everybody before we go spacewalk time.
This is not thinking jumping with glue, Morgan.
Oh dear, like I've been having increasing amounts of trouble. Like I've already got the next episode's raw footage ready as well. Hey, so yeah, now begins the guts journey. Definitely blue Danube moment.
This is definitely a Space Station 13 moment.
These tunnels,
And the music's amazing, so I'm just gonna stay quiet for a little bit.
mostly conduit carrying the bare necessities: power, water, air. But operators also use it to deliver supplies from the cargo bay up to the Arboretum. Given the small number of crew assigned here, I would expect Typhon presence to be minimal as well. But that's probably a bad assumption.
just immerse yourself in that moment, and that's so great.
I'm just, I'm sitting here drinking a cup of hot chocolate, and I practically choked on my cocoa. So I was like, what the hell was that?
Okay, so those were the cystoids. The little rolly things were the cystoids. The bigger ones, I forget their name, but essentially you can't have one without the other. Oh, well, you can't, like, you'll find the one spawns the other, I should say. It's basically the cystoid pods, I think they're called. But we'll find out in a moment, because we're going to scan a few. But the thing about these things, and the scanner does this weird thing where it wants to scan the things in the corner, because if I angle my head, apparently it just angles it enough to, like, put something in the way. It's weird.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, there we go. Cystoid nest. That's the term. Okay, so what happens is if you go near a cystoid nest, or something moves near a cystoid nest, it explodes, and it, as you can see there, it explodes, and it releases a bunch of little pods, and they also explode, and they explode when they hit something that moves. Like, they basically follow movement. They don't have conventional vision. They will simply just chase movement.
Boy, this doesn't seem like a very self-perpetuating life cycle.
No, I think it's basically a way the Typhon just try and make places so that other people can't get there. I think it's basically the Weaver setting up defenses. I think they're not meant to do anything but run into stuff and explode. And if you're ever wondering if there is like a nest nearby, they give off a light ambient radiation, so your radiation warning systems will go off.
Oh, that's also creepy as hell. As if the like floating, exploding boogers weren't enough. They're floating, exploding, radioactive boogers. Criminy. Why is everything about the Typhon disgusting and creepy?
Because they love you. Most people, when they first go through here, might just be trying to shoot stuff. They really want you to pay attention. And it's basically, yeah, movement. So you get things like crates, which don't explode, and you throw them. And the nest gets set off, the cystoids run into it, and then the cystoids push it, which makes more cystoids chase it. And so that's how you clear out a nest. It's actually,
it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Where you laugh, the station laughs, January laughs, and the cystoids die a little outside.
January is very concerning this episode, not in like a bad way, but just the things January say are mostly there just to remind you that January is not people.
Well,
I mean, January just stone cold murdered December.
And the entire trust the video you made thing is just like, man, I literally edit these videos for a living. You don't think I could clap together some crap that looked like me talking to myself? That is probably the least trustworthy thing January has said so far.
I have emphasized since the very beginning that trust is the fundamental core concept of Prey. Mm-hmm. Do you trust what you see? Do you trust what you're told? Do you trust yourself? Or do you trust what a different yourself said?
Say I'm gonna trust that you're about to slam into the bulkhead at 10 meters a second.
Surprising lack of me slamming into objects at high speed. Compared to my very first playthrough, it was basically just gunk, gadunk, gadunk, armor decayed. It's just like,
Probably,
yep.
I probably look
I sure
more
know
like
what
a
I'm doing.
Pinball machine than anything else.
So there is another one around, but you don't, if it's hiding behind a pipe, there's no point to try and chase it down. But you definitely want to, take care of, all the little operators and stuff around the place. Oh, there's one up there.
I see it as just a, it's just frickin' house cleaning. Particularly if they're giving off what I'm going to presume is Gammo. Okay.
Yeah, I know. We'll have a few moments like that, and
Okay.
I will get hit a few times as well. Yes, they saw something that was moving much further, and also this is another way you can use the bolt caster. These guys will chase those little darts for days.
They're just so happy to be there.
And if you fire one directly at them, it basically just makes them explode because they get their digits on it. Mm-hmm. It makes the little squeaky sound. I got it. sake.
I've honestly had a lot of fun with that in many of the sci-fi games over the last couple of years. Just like low-tech solutions for sci-fi problems. You have these foam darts that are ideal for diffusing radioactive organic mines, and then if you play XCOM at all, like one of the easiest solutions that you can give people who are having trouble is build and bring a couple of flashbangs. You would be amazed at how many like aliens with psychic evolutionary adaptations that have taken however many millennia to evolve. You can just shut them down with 12 bitcoins worth of flash powder. Just totally.
So I really like that little bit just there, because I said that like we hadn't even scratched the surface of what you can do with the glue gun. Well, that was just another example of something you can do with it. It's just so many things you can do with this thing.
Yeah, that's another very creative use of it. Oh man, the frickin' oxygen tanks.
It's gonna
yeah,
whoop
let's
this
just throw
person.
something that explodes at something that explodes.
Why not?
P.S. Isaac Newton wants a frickin' word with this entire action-reaction thing you've got going on, but that is the last time I'm gonna mention it.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this series is it's so easy to get disoriented. I will actually get disoriented in a moment, and like because like I know there's more of those things I can throw to get rid of those stuff, but I'll be like,
Where'd they go?
yeah, there's
again?
one more nest, but then I'll be like, I won't be able to find it because I'll have just drifted into the wrong spot, and I'll be just like, where am I? Holy shit!
Now you're upside down.
Yeah, like human beings aren't supposed to operate in like a full 3D movement rotation environment. It just fucks you up.
Yeah, we're rather used to the concept of an absolute down.
Yeah, gravity is a nice thing, and it's a friend I can't wait to have back. So yeah, we don't have a box we can throw, but
Oh god. Oh god in heaven.
Thankfully not too damaging. It's just like, you know, if you got like cystoids can be very annoying if you're trying to do one or two certain things. Because I'll just say it now, weavers spawn cystoids as well. Like they basically will. The way weavers fight is they try and run away from you and they drop cystoids. That can be a major problem if you're trying to take out a weaver. Don't try and take out a weaver conventionally with like. See, as long as you're not moving, you're okay.
That still amazed me. You had an explosive radioactive booger eat your head and explode, and you're just like, yeah, whatever.
And then I just ate something in space. It's great.
Yeah, I mean,
I do wonder if there's like even oxygen in here or not. I don't think there is because we saw a dude with like the thing on.
Yeah, I would not guess that there's O2 in here, but it's pretty clear that your suit is supposed to be sealed, just because you've done a couple of like actual honest to god spacewalks at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean,
all
maybe
the
you're just
depictions of
feeding it into the
Morgan
hopper.
in like art and stuff, which in a way plays to the fact that you can be either male or female. You like it's this really weird sort of glass helmet. I think we saw like in the Talos 1 lobby, like a version of it.
Huh.
Like, okay, thanks for nothing.
Okay, I was gonna say, where the hell did the cystoids go?
Oh, they just didn't. No, that's okay, because there's still my little foam dart out there, so they're all having to go one at a time. I love these. I love those little darts. They are the best. Just watch them.
It's like seriously, a Nerf crossbow is one of the best weapons you can have in this horrible survival horror situation. I am at awe with how elegant that is.
And speaking of things that put us in awe, I really love the design of this tunnel. It's essentially one long tunnel. It has a branching path further up. But it's managed to be full of so much stuff. There are reasonable concepts like, you know, stop stations with supply stuff in it, like so that like nobody has to try and like go, oh wait, stuff's happening.
Your shit got sorted out. That was shorted out. That was scary.
Morgan, steady. That pulse hit your suit systems pretty hard. It came from the substation ahead. There's a magnetosphere around Talos 1 that keeps the sun from cooking your insides. Hopefully the generator isn't dying. For your sake, I'll be fine.
Like I said, January not so good at this. It's like, hey, you know, let's have a discussion. You know, like, you know, if you need me, I'll talk to you about how you have to kill yourself. And then it's like, oh, but you know, don't worry about me. I'm all right. You'll get cooked on the inside out. I don't have a problem with this.
Oh, let's wait till we're not.
Yeah, sadly dead.
Yeah, totally dead.
That's all right. I'll recycle those plant clippings for you, dude. They will go to waste.
Then you'll probably use them in a neuromod.
Yep, right in the eyeballs.
Your attempts to get laid are going into my eyeballs. Banana peel. I like the theory that came up with like all of these random banana peels and lemon rinds and whatever that people are carrying around, that just because of the recycled atmosphere in Talos 1, everything is just rank 24/7. So they just carry around these bits of citrus.
The lemon scent, the banana scent. Alright,
Fruit
so
or
we aren't
whatever.
pushing on him, we're going to the Magnetosphere, because if you go up to the door there, it'll basically, like, you'll need the key. And the guy who has the key is here in the Magnetosphere, and we'll see where exactly in the Magnetosphere he is. But yeah, we did talk about that. There is a maximum distance you can go in space before you start taking ridiculous amounts of damage. So I'm like, I can't get into this room. This is terrible. I can't even grab that medkit with the powers of my my long remote manipulation. So
I was honestly hoping you were just gonna hit that screen and just be like, okay, that goes all the way through.
yeah, I was kind of hoping that myself, but it looks like we're gonna have to break out mimic matter.
Mimic matter.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for us to become
A coffee cup.
no.
Why not?
Because first we are a spool of something, bandages.
And you roll around like Samus's morph ball. Also, that's
That's very
gauze. That's gauze.
Yeah,
So,
I saw
but oh
bandages
my
gauze,
god, that owns so incredibly hard. I can't get over that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't you worry about that.
Oh man, that was incredible. Like mimic
It
matter.
doesn't look like a way to
like,
get in
I
otherwise.
didn't have a good idea like when you were talking about it. Like how in the hell could they possibly make that cool? It's just like, oh okay, we're turning it into like Samus Aran's morph ball / I am bread.
So yeah, the magnetosphere generator is being a bit wonk. You might notice there's a corpse floating up in there, inside there. That's the guy who has the key that we need to keep going on.
Of course it is.
Now we're fine mostly around this place. For some reason, that fire will not go out no matter how much I try. No run whatsoever has that fire ever like gone out.
All right then.
Langley!
Hey, Kits.
What's the matter?
He's dead!
Whoa, what? Who's dead?
Anders! I tried to call security,
Do you need a medical team?
I said he's dead, Langley!
Right. Laurel, take a deep breath. Tell me what happened.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Anders went into the mag chamber to test one of the coils that's been flaking on us. I don't know what happened exactly, but there was a pulse. I think it cooked him in his suit.
God, I'm so sorry, Laurel. Can you get up to the arboretum?
No, Anders had the key card.
Okay, got it. Listen, just sit tight. Don't go into that chamber. I'm gonna find Chief Elazar. We'll get a security team your way ASAP.
Got 3 of them with life signs though.
Mm-hmm.
That means they're
But
probably phantoms.
there is one person we need to find. So thankfully we can bring up Hardware Labs, and we need to locate Josh Dalton. He's actually somewhere here in the guts. So
Oh, okay. My bad. I completely I misinterpreted how that thing was. Okay, never mind. All these people are totally dead.
probably.
Okay, no, like objectively, I was reading the display wrong.
5,
That goes out.
3,
Weird.
Yeah. I think the ticks is basically just you've actually already like seen that person.
Goddamn cystoids!
Cardboard box just solves all of life's problems.
I'm seriously reminded of Deus Ex Invisible War, where after you get to a certain point, the best weapon you have just ends up becoming like pretty much whatever barrel you lay your hands on.
Shockwave imminent.
So we're fine until we actually try and go in there. And we will eventually go in there, but there's a whole bunch of stuff to just poke around. There's stuff hidden up above.
4,
Because, you know, that's just this kind of a level.
It's this kind of game, honestly. It's an arcane game. You're not thinking vertically playing an arcane game. You're playing the wrong game.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, because we are using a tech weapon, we get shorted out.
Come on.
Glue guns! Like I said, this is not a good episode, and the next episode will not be a good episode for trying to get around using the glue gun. I struggle. I struggle, and I think half of it's like self-inflicted.
Nah, I think that this is just as much art as it is science.
warning, plasma shockwave imminent.
It's like one more up there. It's like, okay, that stuff's up here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But there's even more up this way.
Plasma
But wait, there's more!
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
2, 1.
What's
I was
going on?
a bit stuck there, I think.
Oh,
was the
okay.
problem.
I was
I was
like,
like,
what
I can't
even-
move.
what
Where
even
am
are
I?
you doing?
I might have had a box inside of me or something when I tried to move it. Now I'm gonna metagame a little bit, and it's not gonna help me remotely. Because once you go in there and sort everything out, a bunch of angry science operators, like corrupted operators, come barging in. So I'm like, hey, I'll place some EMP charges. That'll take care of that.
Plasma shockwave.
Well, our friend over there is gonna set off one of them, and the other one's just not gonna do jack. So
Of
it's just gonna be
course.
like, that's what I get for trying to be clever.
Honestly, I was sitting here thinking that they were just close enough together that they would set each other off, and you'd only get one bomb out of it.
Warning, seek shelter.
All right, it's time to be a master hacker again. By the end of this episode, we will have hacking level 4, so there will not be a single door that we cannot open. Some way, somehow.
I was kind of hoping that we would see you just get interrupted by the plasma shockwave.
4,
Everything just pauses when you get in on hacking.
1.
So this station. Excuse me, I'm in the middle of something
You
here.
little bastards!
Oh hey, she's got flowers. Okay, hold on. There we go. Yeah, so. That was the EMP going off. I'm just like, fucking
on.
computers! Goddamn fuck!
Why do you do this?
I was just like, what is even happening here? I don't even remember if that one was there or not. Whatever! Just... We gotta go in here. Okay, so we can open the emergency supplies closet.
Warning, seek shelter.
But what we really want to do is shut down the power.
Magnetosphere
So,
deactivated.
while it's deactivated,
Exposure maximum.
you know, everyone has a risk of getting melted inside out, but thankfully it doesn't actually, like, you know, last that long for everyone to be imperiled. We've just got a limited scope of time to get in here, loot the emergency supply closet we opened up over here.
Very, very nicely labeled and everything.
I appreciate that. And then we gotta find this guy's body, which you could use the computer to make it a little easier if you really wanted to, but there's only so far you can float. Come here, Anders. Got something else. There we go. In fact, he has a suit upgrade. And that suit upgrade will actually make it easier for us to fly around in space. Boosts our propulsion.
It's
That's
just,
that.
just like the acceleration and yeah, it's the acceleration and deceleration. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, just shoot it with your shotgun. That'll help.
Yeah, I know they're coming, but knowing they're coming and actually being able to do anything about it. See, it sort of didn't do anything. I don't know. Like, I think they were slightly protected by something. Really hard to like try and deal with these guys while they're like directly in your face. So I'm just gonna like throw an EMP at my feet. I could have used the other charge, but whatever. We get this.
You can hack a corrupted operator.
You can in fact hack a corrupted operator. You can hack anything that's disabled basically, and that will bring it around to your side.
That is really weird. It's like, I'm sorry, I have to ask questions about the
No.
about the mechanics of this now. Like, does that just sort of override the Typhon's influence or something? That is
Well,
so
yeah, because
bizarre.
the Typhon influence is essentially like, remember they talked about the elevator? How the elevator was doing some weird shit, and how like every time they tried to every time January tried to call it, like the access codes or something was just changing. Like the Typhon are communicating with technology, but they're just communicating with it in a very sort of weird, brute forcey sort of way. And so essentially, you're hacking it back to your side of the scheme.
This seems like every ridiculous conversation I've ever had about about hacking back the hackers.
It's just that sequence in Hackers with the Cookie Monster virus.
Tight cookie, you idiot! It's just like, that isn't how anything has worked ever in the history of ever.
There is still one last thing up there I need to get my hands on.
The shockwave imminent.
And I am going to screw up a few times trying to get it because it is one of those locations you can only really get there if you're a mimic. I mean, someone will probably prove me wrong, but I have no luck otherwise.
I can't imagine that that is helping your platforming that much either.
You see, because it was back there and to the right is where we really wanted to go, and I'm gonna go around and see if I can't get to it from here. Can't really. Like, it's like the gap's just not wide enough. Like if I spooched out some goo and then I fell and broke my leg.
It even hurt you too. Oh, criminy, that's
like,
tragic.
Grace's gravity, why you gotta do this?
You probably didn't see me there.
I love the things the operators say when you shove them. Oh, you probably just didn't see me there, or out of the way.
Passive aggressive shit. No, like I actually like the engineering ones because it's just like keep clear. It's like the most OSHA sort of tone that people take. It's just it is right along that same idea of the medical operators, where they've clearly been programmed by somebody who knows that this is what they're supposed to say, but they never quite got down how they're supposed to say it. So it just dives directly into Uncanny Valley and irritating as hell.
So obviously I couldn't get through that way. So mimic time. Wrong button. Mimic time. Now we are a box! Yeah! Now we're not a box.
Everything about that is so good.
And
Hey,
for our
thermal
troubles, we
shielding.
we get resistance to fire now too, which is really nice since we have the electricity resistance, and now we've got that.
Now you just need resistance to falling damage. Yes, I realize you already have that in terms of your maneuvering jets. I'm just enjoying how much damage you took from that earlier fall.
Oh yeah, like crunch.
The sound effects that went with that were also just amazing.
Oh yeah, like you feel it. You really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely some eye cybermessy levels of my legs are not okay.
You're not what they say you are.
Oh.
Rejecting a new cell, spiking them up like an antivirus.
Oh gee, I wonder what that was implying. I have
Yeah, everyone's been speculating in the thread what the few things have been.
Typhon ecology appears to be centered around the creation of this substance. The original researchers called it coral. Beautiful, artifact. We're not sure what its purpose is. It's never spread outside the containment cylinder. Until now.
Yeah, it's almost like the Weavers are getting ready for something. So as was pointed out by somebody previously, these little canisters with the red light on them, radioactive stuff, but you can take care of them with recycling, because apparently you also recycle the radiation. So there you go. I don't know. Whatever.
Turn it down into some more stable isotope, I guess. I'm not gonna think about it too hard.
I ain't no radiologist.
I should link a couple of my friends from college who actually did major in nuclear physics, just to see their heads explode.
Yeah, it's like, but how did he with the why?
They'd probably just go into yet another rant about how sci-fi messes everything up. All engineers and all scientists are permitted at least one of these in their lifetime without being considered a colossal bore. It's not many though.
Yeah, although I will say, surely they can appreciate what this game does get right.
Oh sure, like that's just it. You wouldn't hear so many of those rants to be stereotypical if. I'm never gonna get tired of that.
Mm-hmm. Chase the O2 bottles, little polyps.
Boom,
You can do it.
boom, just a freaking cluster bomb. But yeah, you wouldn't hear nearly so much of that sort of thing if the engineers and scientists that are ostensibly whining didn't love it to pieces.
Yeah. Oh well, it worked.
What is that warning chevron?
That is the, hey, this thing's radioactive.
Oh, okay.
So we are going to unradioactive it again with science. I got shoved. I'd always wondered if those little tram things that are flying around could actually...
Honestly, like, throwing it out like that, there should be a reaction that knocks you backward.
But it's really funny because, like, what actually made me fly backwards was getting hit by one of those little trolley things. And I always wondered if those things killed you or hurt you when they hit you at high speed. No, apparently they just nudge you.
Oh lord, I completely missed the cystoids there for a second.
Yeah, I'm trying to like shoot things to make them move forwards. I'm just wasting ammunition wholesale. Whatever.
That'll work. That's something that they can sink their teeth into.
We got Josh spinning now, so that maybe fly into him and explode him as well. He's quite clearly in a not alive state. Well, but what's Josh doing down here with his Q beam?
What's Josh got to do with it?
Josh is just having a great time flipping around in
space. Seriously.
Hello, Lane. Josh, what the hell is this? I got a security request saying to... It's not funny, asshole.
You know what's not funny? Taking credit for my design.
That's what this is about? I'm senior on the Black Box project, Josh. That's how it works here. If you weren't such a piss-poor team player, you'd understand that. Oh, and by the way, I had to fix a bunch of your calculations, so it's not you... Seriously? You're recording this? What, is this a big sting operation, Josh? You gonna hand me over to the DA? You're so pathetic. I'm done here. Josh, what are you doing?
Let's just see how good my calculations are.
I swear to God, if you don't put that down, I will rip it out of your sweaty hands and... Josh!
So the Typhon didn't kill Lane.
Well... So that just happened.
Yeah, always in a high pressure, high stress environment in space, treat your coworkers with kindness. Don't be that head. Don't be that lead. Now we are about to face a rather dicey little situation over here. We're actually going in the opposite direction of the Arboretum, which is basically where we need to end up next. Because down here are a few places I want to check out, and we've got a Technopath up ahead, two corrupted operators, and then a little bit further behind them we've got a Weaver. So we want to be very careful. Because fighting an operator in space is actually not too much fun, because you know how I was throwing out my little electrical power here? That's what the Technopath throws out. And it deactivates your Q-beam, it deactivates your space jump jets. So yeah, be careful. Here it comes, and zapped.
Oh,
and
son
busted.
of a
And
bitch.
here comes the pain. So, throwing out an EMP device would probably be the best thing, but... Ah, God. See, nearly got it, nearly got it. See, I'm just we're sort of like trading blows here. Now the Weavers are hitting me, and now everything else is hitting me, but we got him.
Nice hit.
Okay. Just gotta shut this idiot down and...
Man, you are not kidding. That's quite the constellation of enemies there.
Yeah, like I said, Weavers drop cystoids, and that means trouble. Now, another thing the Weaver does is, I talked about the fear effect. The Weaver has a real fear effect. Like, it will absolutely just make you unable to do anything, except maybe, like, move around. Because it lets out this god almighty shriek, and you get this status effect on you, which just looks like a dude, like, it just basically looks like the Scream, the artwork, the Scream.
From the eponymous horror movie?
No, the artwork.
Oh, that one. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not exactly identical, but that's what it sort of invokes. So it's just like, oh my god, we got way too many of these things. Let's send these guys off far and away. Get them to go chase something else. Off goes the Weaver.
Now you don't have a good line on him. Holy crap!
Yeah, he's still behind us.
How many Weavers? How many cystoids can he spawn?
Oh, you can just keep spawning them forever and ever and ever. You don't wanna like try. Like, the worst thing you can do in these circumstances is try and chase a Weaver down and like shoot it with a shotgun. Just spare yourself the trouble. Just spare yourself the trouble. Go into combat focus and beam this motherfucker right in his big smug face. Once you get close enough, anyway.
Oh lord!
I'm like, am I hitting him? Because I feel like I'm pretty close, but apparently I was like hitting an object he was half inside. Video games.
Is he out? No,
Not yet.
Not quite.
Gotta fill him full of Q-beam. There we go.
There. Good riddance.
Okay.
I like the Typhon tumor that just sort of sailed past you.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, all that stuff I could use to make stuff just sailing away. Whatever. Upgrade our next lot of weapons, because we're gonna be needing the shotgun for the next lot. And get our suit back up and everything. Yeah, time to wander around a bit on our actual feet. The shuttle bay is an area that you can access from the lobby. This particular section, I don't think you can access from the lobby itself. But like the shuttle bay is an area of its own, and we'll go visit that in due course. So once we're a bit further on in the story.
And once we're done watching these cystoids hilariously commit suicide on an oil fire.
Yeah, but we will be going into the area where like the fueling is done.
Honestly, if these are reserve fuel tanks at all, I'm very impressed you didn't just murder yourself with that explosive canister trick.
Well, somebody else has already beaten us to it.
Oh, hello.
Yep. So we finally got a name for our fiery friend. It's the Thermal Phantom, and he's actually a little scary in here because that's like really powerful fuel all over on the ground.
Yep. Oh lord.
I have no concept of like not doing the most ridiculously stupid
that,
and self-harming
like
attacks possible.
Yeah, that didn't seem like the most well-advised attack there.
Look, it fell over, and that's basically like when the blood murder kill death frenzy starts.
Let the bodies hit the floor, just starts playing in your head, and you're no longer responsible for your actions. I get it.
It's weak. Consume it. A little bit more. Too far. Too fast. And we got so many like I do appreciate there so many different paths you can take. I'm sure they're like, there's no way they're gonna like miss the plan this time. Yeah, fuck you.
Ooh, sync kill.
Ain't that mimic. It's a cute little place. This. The power's out. At the
Eel
moment. We can turn it
tank?
back on. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the proverbial cat outside the window that wants to be let back inside. It's right there.
Yeah, that particular one I think is gonna stay out in the figurative cold, because I know space isn't cold. I got it. Oh, good. There's the electric junction.
Yeah, we can turn the power back on before that, but then we get horribly electrocuted.
Is it weird that I saw the signage on that electrical junction in both English and Russian? And the only thing I could think of was that one crazy Russian dude from, I think it was Armageddon. American components, Russian components, all made in Taiwan.
Well, let's hope we don't have any Armageddon moments. Yeah, but everything in this room is broken. Good God, you gotta fix everything around here.
These people just can't handle their liquor, and because of that, everything's broken because they broke it in a drunken rage. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along.
Well, I assume the explosion wiped everything out because thermal phantom.
I don't think that follows logically. Think about this rationally, dude.
Think about this rationally. Everybody was on a massive pisser.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying rational until you agree with me. That's how I argue.
It's but rational. But what if rational?
But what if we rationally thought of rational cocksucking?
So, at the very least, it's open now. We can access that from the shuttle bay now if we so desired. Which we don't right now, because there is still a little bit more down this end of the area that is full of tasty things for us to yoink off the shelves.
Oh
I
man,
love
the
hoovering
mental
stuff.
image of Morgan just being there, scooping those materials in greedily with both hands. Oh,
I wish you just had a shovel and it was just and a giant pocket and just be doofing it in.
There's an entire animation where she just pulls the collar of her spacesuit open and just drops it all in Looney Tunes style.
Get
What is the
Neuromods?
Yeah. Can I ask what the entire point of them allowing you to craft full weapons is? Is losing your weapon really that much of an issue here?
You're talking to the guy that stuffed a whole thing of ammo into a machine and destroyed it. You tell me.
Okay, you got me. I was I can't even figure out how you would
there's always something that can go wrong. Why not just have a plan for everything?
Okay. Well, I mean, I was trying to think of how it could even go wrong, right? I'm the Technopaths or whatever don't make you drop your weapons. I mean, how could you go drop them? Oh, right. You could just accidentally jam them into a recycler.
Remember, human error.
Yeah.
Human error.
It's the most ubiquitous kind of error.
It's the error that just keeps on giving.
What was that incredibly trite quote from Einstein? Two things are constant: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. I think that's right.
It works for me. All right, we got. Let's see. This thing always struck me as a bit mean.
Sentient shipping.
You've just got this gigantic fight with Weavers and Technopaths and stuff. So you got this little space crate over here. Most of the space crates can be opened by some means or other. They're not already open. So having level 4 hacking means that there's not really one that we can't open now.
The music here always gets me.
Oh yeah, the music. Bouncy blocks. Mind you, I will say the level 4 hacks are the easiest thing because you get so much time. You could be bumbling your way through it and still end up with a good 5 or so seconds left on the clock because.
Decent point.
Yeah.
What even happens if you fail it? Does it just shock you and make you try again in 20 seconds? Okay.
It shocks you and you can try again immediately. So at least it's not that mean. And that's we got some Q beam cells, some EMPs and everything. It's hey, cool. If you hadn't been saving up, that probably would be a bit of insult to injury after the fact. So we're getting down to cargo processing. And there's
Just
actually
shove
a
that guy's
plot thread
corpse
we
in
need to
there.
pursue down here. Not a major plot thread, but it's a side quest.
There's
Love side
the
quests.
flexiphone bolt.
Yeah. I think that was one I fired a long time ago.
I mean, that might be right. I haven't been exactly counting your darts.
Yeah, I haven't been picking up all of them.
Policing your nerf.
So what's happening here is that these guys needed to get this particular door open, but with everything that's been going on, they've had to do a bit of troubleshooting, and the idea is that one guy on one end does something with the computer, and a guy on the other end does something. And,
Now you've
one
got
guy
8
on one end
minutes.
died, and the other guy on the other end, I think, presumably stood around waiting for a while, and then died. So let's go to the cargo bay and activate it, because it does give you access to a room full of goodies. And that's the best kind of room. And it gives you an extremely generous amount of time to go fix that up, because they probably expect that you glossed over the reading a bit, and also be fiddling through your waypoints and everything like that. You could do this in like a minute, I guess, if you really knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I would. It's also just a matter of it's microgravity, and you probably are not that terribly familiar with this part of the station. I can only imagine how much trouble that they went through to make sure that people could actually navigate microgravity. This seems like exactly the sort of thing that you would just want to tear your hair out as like a programmer, because no matter what you do, the testers are still having trouble like orienting themselves and doing stuff.
So now we have access to Phantom Shift, the ability to zip around like a loon. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is just like in Dishonored, right? I'll get to choose where I blink to, because everything else stops time when you use it. Can you tell what doesn't happen by how sarcastically I said that?
Yeah, I was gonna say the tone of your voice says an awful lot about the punchline here.
Yeah, so just activate the cargo bay processing, and
Get
I'm
ready
like,
to
yeah,
murder
let's
the
fight this guy. Let's test out this power. I'm gonna like zip behind him and attack him. All I gotta do is just right click, and then it'll oh god, that happened instantly. What? Oh Jesus, what? God! The good news is I'm actually dropping decoys as I do that, so he's actually sort of like trying to figure those out before he does anything. And he's
dropping
like,
his own
you
decoys.
get out of my face, thank you. Okay, there we go.
Jiminy Christmas.
But there's something more important we need to do with this power. Somebody in the thread asked about it. Just a mention to the thread and everybody else. Where if you ask, are you going to show X or what? Yes. Unless it's like the most obscure thing in the world, yes, I'm going to show it.
Oh yeah, this.
And there you go, Morgan
Morgan
Yu.
Yu.
Strength, devastating beauty, weakness, toxic family, immunity, I wish, resistance, good advice.
Definitely tell who wrote that one. I always feel like somebody's watching me.
There we go, that is one of the scans you can only get if you use Typhon powers.
Oh man,
It's pretty great.
It's like people aren't exactly familiar with our work, where we do like the entire curated thing. If you're concerned that we don't know a secret, that's a legitimate question. If you're concerned that we know about something and we're just not going to show it because we're dicks, I don't think you've watched a number of our videos.
Although I suppose everybody, harping on about me not going for that key is probably a good indicator.
Morgan, this is Chief Elazar.
Oh wow, somebody's alive.
Just flooding the area. We don't want them getting out. Any more than they already have. We are safe in here for the moment. Do what you can for anyone else still out there, and maybe we can salvage this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so shipping container 3232. This
is the payoff you were talking about.
Yeah, because remember we just in the last episode, there was that one lady who was like really, really against all the shitty things that they were doing. So she was gonna have somebody sneak their way back to Earth with a whole bunch of information that would basically incriminate all of us and get us probably arrested. Well, sadly, this guy got sealed in the container, and because of the invasion of the Typhon, the outbreak of the Typhon, never actually got sent out.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was gonna blow the whole thing wide open, but unfortunately for everyone involved, including the poor bugger who was going to take a ride in a crate, yeah, he died.
Well, I suppose he's got good company. The dead are the only ones that are safe in this godforsaken place.
Or or at least everybody that's with the head of security who has her head on her shoulders.
Are you kidding me? The head of security is probably one of the people who's most responsible for all of this.
She did warn them. Remember, we listened to the audio logs, and she said, we are well-trained but poorly equipped, and this is just an accident that has already happened before, waiting to happen.
Yeah, she warned them, but
How do you deal with corporate
better interpretation. She had that warning. I will wait for actual decent confirmation of her character.
Well, that's alright, because we will get to meet her.
Oh, good.
Microgravity detected.
So, I went past this room just mostly because of the timer and mostly because I expected I was going to be dicking around a little. You can use remote manipulation to open a bunch of safes they got in there, but it's just as easy to just mimic your way in.
That is the craziest thing ever, and I love it.
Yeah, I held off just long enough so that everybody would be like, I want to see him turn into small objects and fling around the place. And there you go, everybody. Whoops. There we go.
I imagine people have just been waiting for that to blow my frickin' mind. Well, mind blown. That worked.
Yeah. I really want to get lots and lots of Neuromods so I can really just jump around with all the powers and show off all the wacky stuff we can do, because there is so much we can do. There are so many things we can get to make our Morgan very difficult to kill.
Just
scanning the Voltaic and the Thermal Phantoms, aside from giving you the abilities to throw fire and throw electricity around, they also can give you latent resistances, passive powers.
Right, I noticed that a couple of the scannable powers from the volcanic phantoms were volcanic resistance or fire or volcanic immunity, whatever the hell it was. It was oh, okay, that's clearly fire resistance and fire immunity.
Yeah, just be able to walk through all those jets of fire that I was buggering my way through before and be yeah, no worries.
Just
0 damage.
The horns.
I drink my milk.
Drink my milk. Okay.
So there's 3 canisters in here, and we're gonna rifle through all of them because we need all of these treasures. They weren't treasures before, but they're definitely treasures now.
One man's trash is another man's recycling fodder.
Hey, I'm just all down for all of the sweet med kits, psi hypos, and ammunition we can get from here. So, psychoactive charger, yeah, slowly regenerates our psi points.
Oh, that's nice.
And we've also got I don't remember when we picked that one up, but we're gonna go upgrade our psychoscope. So we're gonna increase our psi pool first, obviously.
Because that's a.
And then we're gonna upgrade our psychoscope so that we can equip both of those. Because hey, there are a lot of moments where you're sort of you have those downtimes, so it's good to have a little bit of regeneration, and casting a free power can't go astray.
Well, I'm actually I absolutely hate those sorts of powers or powers that are just oh yeah, no, maybe sometimes you'll get this for free. And it's just you know what? I'm trying to plan here. I'm trying to plan doing this crap, and your little sometimes thing, I realize that sometimes something good happens, but it does not help me plan. I can't count on that. It's not helpful. But you will
never notice when it actually kicks in, basically.
Yeah,
so it never feels like you're actually getting a good use out of it because it never kicks in. But You know, until I can get some better stuff, because no, we're never equipping the ability to see what the hell the mimics are. It's too bad, everybody.
I could feel that.
I'm like, wait. Treasure. That's
Not
the
just
remains of the.
Man, that is a very
That's all that's left of the Technopath.
Weaver. Looks like.
No, that was the Technopath. The Weaver turned into
Oh.
like a ball of goop and like it sailed off somewhere into the distance around here, and I ain't even gonna bother looking for it. Someone's probably already freeze framed it and gone there. Yeah, I spend a moment. I'm like, maybe it went this way because I never went through this tunnel. I'm like, maybe I should show this tunnel off because it's full of coral and it's quite pretty, and you can listen to the cool noises that the coral makes when you fly through it. Because you'll recall that really weird sort of sequence we had kicked in when I like stuck my head into the coral when I floated out.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like this weird croaking that's going on.
Yeah, kind of like static.
The remains of the Technopath were like the most perfect sickle I've ever seen. So I can only imagine that if you found the remains of the Weaver, it would be an equally large hammer. Perhaps it is
Goddamn
best
Russian
that you
space
couldn't find it.
stations. Well, remember the initially the Russians and the Americans did try to communicate with the Typhon. That's what the initial studies with the Typhon were. It's like, can we get these things to talk to us? Oh, hello, New Weaver.
Well, this is going to get interesting. Ow.
Yeah, but you know, whatever. I got snacks. And I got.
My canon for how you're eating said snacks is still.
I did not mean to
basically-
throw two at once. I don't even know how I managed that. Whatever.
You've got a
There's
fast
another
hand.
there's another usage for the Typhon lore if you really want to waste 102 really good grenades. Sail enough into the distance.
Sailing away.
Mind you, just hawking it down the guts like that actually like would make a whole bunch of stuff that wants to kill you just go. Oh.
The power plant has been compromised. I repeat, the power plant has been compromised.
It's about time, Sam.
Chief, I'm not a comm tech. I'm doing the best I can.
Micah, this is Security Chief Elazar. Can you hear me?
Sarah? Yes, I can hear you.
Been trying to patch into the PA. My team's in the cargo bay, and those things are in here too. They're crawling all over the station. Check everything around you. Hit it with a wrench.
Check the wrench first.
Sam? He's right. These things... Smash every freestanding thing and see if it comes back at you. Get to a secure area, and when you're safe, call me via transcribe. I'm sending you a secure contact, alright?
Understood. I left my transcribe in the coolant monitoring station. Heading there now. I can load myself in.
Are you okay?
I'm just catching my breath. Sarah, can you tell me what happened?
Micah, get safe, then call.
We're gonna have to save her, aren't we? If she's not just gonna be dead when we run into her.
Do remember, Michaela is the one who sent us the email being like, hey, why are you like pretending like you don't even remember who I am? I know we had a little bit of a thing, like a little bit of a tiff, but is this really the mature way to respond?
I'm glad you reminded me of that because there is no way I would have remembered.
Yeah, and so that's the end. We have reached the end of the guts. We are now off to the Arboretum. There's not too many more reasons to ever go back to the guts. We've pretty much cleaned it out. Though I'm sure, you know, something will prove me wrong at some point in the game. At least from personal recollection. That's it. And we're back to the well-lived-in parts of the station.
Cool. Honestly, as cool as that was, I'm perfectly fine with going back to places where there is an absolute up.
Yes, there's, because geez, wow, it just knocks you for a loop, doesn't it?
I keep turning my head 90 degrees to see if it makes any more sense that way.
Well, the journey continues. We have still got to get to deep storage, but the good news is that the Arboretum is the second hub, along with the lobby, and it leads to a few places, and one of those places is in fact deep storage. You would think deep storage is the very bottom of the station, far away from everybody else, but it's actually It's actually just sort of up in the rec area, a hop, skip, and a jump away from the living quarters and the tower control. So we're gonna have a bit of a poke around there. We're gonna explore. And we're gonna meet a new friend or two along the way. And by friend or two, I mean thing trying to kill us.
I kind of figured. There's nothing friendly on this damn thing.
and not a one of them are pleasant to be around. So until then, I've been the Last Robot Guy.
I've been Cool Guy.
And we'll see you all next time in the park.
And we did, in fact, have it.